Hi, my name is Elizabeth Anglin, and today I'll be going over a current topic known as the opioid crisis. This will be displayed through a media on Netflix, which is a series called Painkiller. So, a summary this Netflix series is a fictionalized telling of the origins and aftermath of the opioid crisis here in America. OxyContin was created and distributed and aggressively marketed by Purdue Pharma. Richard Slackler, who was the owner, downplayed OxyContin's addictive ability. This show was filmed from multiple perspectives, such as drug representatives, doctors, and patients who became addicted. The loss of many lives due to the misuse of the medication, and again, the overall opioid epidemic. Next, a couple of the laws that we talked about in this class were the Anti-Kickback Statute and the False Claims Act. When I watched Painkiller, I discovered that the Anti-Kickback Statute and the False Claims Act were laws that were found in the opioid crisis. So the Anti-Kickback Statute, this is a law with a combination of healthcare policy and ethics. The False Claims Act is a law that holds companies and individuals accountable for defrauding the government. Again, like I mentioned, each of these laws are essential concepts that were taught to us throughout this course. So connecting it to, again, the show Painkiller, Anti-Kickback Statute was represented in the show when it showed financial incentives such as bonuses and perks were provided to doctors who prescribe the medication OxyContin. This can be interpreted as kickbacks. Kickbacks violate laws that prohibit financial rewards for promoting or prescribing specific drugs. So anyone who was prescribing this OxyContin from Purdue Pharma was getting incentives to sell it, to give it to their patients. And of course, during this time, doctors were only thinking about themselves and not the cause of what could possibly happen with these opioids. Not to mention that the downplaying of the addiction was also a big thing. So many doctors, as they should be educated, were not fully educated on the situation. Next, the False Claims Act. This was another law that I found represented what we learned in class, but also represented something that happened during this opioid crisis in the show Painkiller. So, Purdue Pharma violated the FCA by promoting OxyContin with non-approved uses by the FDA. So, they encouraged prescriptions for minor pain and conditions outside of the approved conditions. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think of opioids and in the situation of having to take an opioid, I think of having like an extreme surgery and you're in pain and you need something to help reduce that pain, right? Now that's when I feel like an opioid would be necessary. But for many of the examples like in the show, this girl, her knee hurt. That's all she had to go in and say was, "Doctor, my knee hurts." And the doctor would be like, "Okay, I'll prescribe you some pain medication." And it would be OxyContin. See, those minor conditions are very unnecessary when it comes to using opioids to treat that. Opioids are also not one thing that you want to immediately give out to patients because without trying other things first. Like, for example, if her knee hurt or her ankle hurt, whatever, we need to try ibuprofen, we need to try icing or elevating the situation before you're just prescribing opioids to that person. Okay, so in conclusion, understanding healthcare laws and policies is important for the community and your own personal health. Being in the know can help prevent future epidemics. So, you need to know what and how much is going into your body and to do your own research because you can't always believe what the media says. As we saw earlier, Purdue Pharma was found guilty of downplaying the effects of the addictive ability of OxyContin. Now, they told prescribers and patients and stuff that this medication wasn't addictive, right? It was special. It was a pain medication that got the edge off, but it wasn't going to make you addicted. However, that wasn't true. They were just saying that because they wanted sales. So these are all things that you have to keep in mind. And if you are in the know and you are educated on these situations, you can prevent harm on yourself, but also people in the community, because you could say, okay, well, my friend just went to the doctor for this thing and they gave her opioids, and now I'm a little concerned that she's having issues with addiction. That's when maybe you go in and report that situation, because doctors should be realizing that their patients are struggling on that end. And without that reporting, then opioid epidemics will keep continuing. So it's important to stay in the know. Finally, here is just a list of references that I used for my micro lecture. Thank you.